What's up, sports bettors? We got lots of MLB games tonight, and we are going to be going through the best bets. We're going to be going through 3 prop bets for tonight. So let's go ahead, let's get into it. So the first bet I have is Trey Turner over 1.5 bases. So this bet is on Caesar Sportsbook. This is my first bet that I'm going with for tonight. So you can see that Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, right? The most efficient betting market. They're pricing this at minus 116. So we're getting 24 cents of improvement from the sharpest bookmaker, right? And this bet has a profit margin of 4.42%. So when you're using OddsJam, you essentially want to be placing the bets in bold with a circle around them. Those are the sharp positive EV bets that you want to be on. So we can see the sharpest bookmaker is pricing this at minus 116. We're getting plus 108. So this is a bet with value, right? This is a value bet where we are getting, odds above the true price, which is referred to as the no vig odds in sports betting. So we can also look at kind of the historical trends with the free OddsJam, player prop research app. So there's a link to this app in the description as well as in the comments. And you can see that Trey Turner over 1.5 bases, it's cashed 45 out of 88 games this season. So 51.1% of the time, which is an implied price of minus 104. You can also look at last 5 games, last 10, last 25. You can kind of slice the data in any way you'd like to, home, away, whatever you want to do. But long story short, if you were to bet on Turner over 1.5 bases every single game this season at minus 104 odds, you would have broken even. Implied odds is the break-even win rate. If you would have placed this bet every game this season, all 88 games at minus 104, your net profit would be 0 on Trey Turner over 1.5 bases. Now, if you would have betted at better odds than the implied price, like plus 108, which we're betting tonight, then you would have made money. And if you would have betted at worse odds than the implied price, like minus 120, you would have lost money. So according to the historicals, this bet looks pretty good, right? The implied price is minus 104. We're getting plus 108. It's cashed, 4 out of the last 5 games. So this is a valuable tool. Again, historical data doesn't encompass, everything, right? For example, it's Dodgers-Angels tonight. If the Angels have a great pitcher on the mound, then Trey Turner over 1.5 bases will be less likely, right? So real-time betting odds data, market data is important because it's future, right? It's the future. Everything is supposed to be encompassed in real-time betting odds from the sharpest bookmakers, which is why it's critical to use OddsJam to find value in the odds, right? In real-time market data. So for example, for Trey Turner over 1.5 bases, we're getting it plus 108 on Caesars. The sharpest bookmaker out there is pricing this as a favorite at minus 116, right? They have the over minus 116 on Pinnacle, and the under is minus 114. So it's juiced towards the over, and we're actually getting plus money on Caesars. So this bet's pretty good, and it has a profit margin of 4.42%. So you can see I locked it in right here for $150. Trey Turner over 1.5 bases. And then, literally a ton of other bets. All over the Nationals tonight at plus 170. And then some pitching props, some tennis props. A lot of sports betting today. So the next bet I'm on is the Dodgers plus 105 on the team total. So Dodgers over 4.5 team total plus 105. Profit margin is 3.87%. I didn't straight bet this, but I actually have it in a parlay. The Red Sox money line. What else do I have? Some other parlays, but I have this in a 2-leg parlay. Orioles over 3.5 team total and Dodgers over 4.5 team total. So we've said this before, but when you're finding bets that have an edge, that are positive EV, and you parlay them together, then your parlay will be profitable, right? So we got this plus 105 on WinBet, and you can see no other sportsbook is giving you better than minus 105. And most sportsbooks, including BetOnline and Pinnacle, the 2 sharpest bookmakers, they actually have this favored, right? Minus 120 on BetOnline, minus 125 on DraftKings, minus 110 on Pinnacle. So most sportsbooks have it favored, and we're getting this plus money on WinBet. So that's a great bet, an example of a bet we want to be on, as well as, this Trey Turner, where is it? Over 1.5 bases. So that's the second bet I'm on. Now the final bet I'm on is, I don't even know who this guy is, but Mauricio Dubon, under 1.5 bases at -145. So this bet is on DraftKings, and I hit it. You can see it right here. I hit it for $100. So this is actually $100. We have Dubon under 1.5 bases, -145, exactly as OddsJam says. So OddsJam is constantly scanning, all of these MLB lines, inning props, batter props, pitcher props, money lines, run lines, UFC, right? Everything for you to try to show you these spots where you have an edge over the sportsbook, where you're getting value to the sharpest bookmakers. So we can see this bet has a profit margin of 4.14%. Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook, they're pricing this at -195, and we're getting 50 cents of improvement on DraftKings. So we can do the same thing. We can use the free OddsJam mobile app. Again, there's a link in the description to take a look at the historical data. And we can see it's pretty crazy, but under 1.5 bases has cashed 86% of the time this season, which is an implied price of -614. And we're getting -145 on DraftKings. And this bet has cashed 43 out of 50 times this season. So looking at historical data, this bet obviously looks incredible. It's cashed 43 out of 50 times, and we're getting it -145 on DraftKings. Of course, though, I'll say this a million times, but every game is different. Maybe a different pitcher is pitching tonight who Dubon is particularly good against. Maybe he's particularly good against lefties or righties. I don't know, right? So there are a lot of factors to consider. Maybe he was injured for part of the season. Maybe he's only hit in, games against weaker teams. Maybe he, was pinch hitting. Long story short, everything is encompassed in real-time market data because the past is the past, right? Every game is different. If you have Garrett Cole pitching and you're looking at, player strikeouts and he's pitching against the best hitting team in baseball, then his strikeout line or, his player outs line will probably be lower. There are a lot of other factors to consider aside from just looking at trends and historical data, which is why you want to be looking at historical odds. I apologize, not only historical odds, but also real-time market data. So we can see this bet looks really good according to Pinnacle. We're getting 50 cents of improvement from the sharpest sportsbook. And again, OddsJam is just constantly scanning the markets to find us these bets, these rare opportunities, out of the millions of odds on sportsbooks. OddsJam is constantly scanning them, processing millions of odds to show you these rare, few betting opportunities where you actually have an edge over the sportsbook, a mathematical profit margin. So this is another great bet. Obviously, it looks fantastic to the historicals. So I went ahead, I locked it in as well, as you can see right here for $100. So we have two bets. Our first bet on Turner has a profit margin of 4.42%. The Dodgers one we have in a parlay, so I'll skip it. And then 4.14% for Dubon. So essentially, we have our bets, we have our stakes. The profit margin of both our bets, you just take your EV percentage or your edge, 4.14%. You multiply it by your stake, $100. Our bet on Dubon has $4.14 in profit margin. So you do the same thing for Turner, 4.42% times 150. So my goal as a sports bettor, right, is place as many positive EV profitable bets as I can on a daily basis. That's my goal as a sports bettor. So I locked in both bets. Let me know if you're tailing. Really like them both, and let's make some money.